Hey guys, Americ with American Muscle. In this video we're going to do a review and install of this SR Performance cold air intake fitting all 2011 to 2019 Dodge Chargers with the 3.6 liter V6. You should really be checking this out if you want a serious upgrade in styling for your engine bay, but also a serious upgrade to your daily driving experience as well. Now when I think of cold air intakes, and this one in particular, there are three things that really stand out to me that I like. First one, particularly with this kit, is the styling upgrade. You got the polished aluminum tubing here that really dresses up the engine bay, and combined with the black filter and the black heat shield that surrounds the filter, I think it's really a nice dress up for this particular Charger, but in general, I really like the polished aluminum. The other aspects to cold air intakes that I like is the improvement in daily driving experience. Now you do get a little bit of a horsepower and torque increase through a cold air intake, but more importantly, you get smoother throttle response. And that really shines through with that smooth, increased airflow through the high flow air filter that comes with this kit. And lastly, what I like about this kit and cold air intakes in general is they serve as a nice platform or gateway to additional performance mods that you might want to add to your car down the road. Now, we're thinking 3.6 liter V6, not a super high performance engine, but if you put that in context, and I might be dating myself a little bit here, when I was growing up and muscle cars were kind of making their resurgence again back in the 80s and the 90s, they were only making around 200 to 225 horsepower. Corvettes might have been making a little bit more than that. This engine makes more horsepower than all of those cars back in the 80s and the 90s, so it definitely puts it in a more performance category compared to cars of old. Now, if you want to squeeze every ounce of power and performance you can get out of your engine, a good way to start is with a cold air intake, especially if you're going to add a throttle controller or a tuner down the road. Now, you don't necessarily need a tuner with this cold air intake, but American Muscle, we do recommend adding a tuner to get every ounce of performance you can out of this new intake. Now, when you think of a new intake and a cold air intake for your engine, it's really not a complicated setup. You basically have some tubing and a high flow air filter. Now, this performance air filter that comes with this kit has special materials in it that will still keep contaminants out while letting a lot of airflow through. Now, when you compare this to other cold air intakes out there, this one is currently priced around $150. That's extremely reasonable. You could be looking at paying twice as much for certain other branded cold air intakes, and to be quite honest, I don't know what you're getting for all that extra money. And especially considering the fact that you have this nice polished aluminum, you're not buying a bargain basement cold air intake here. This is really quite a nice kit. As far as the installation goes, guys, very basic, 1 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. Give yourself about a half hour to get the job done. A couple basic tools, which I'm about to show you here in a second, are all you're going to need to get this installation done in your own garage. So let's take a look at those tools we're going to need and go ahead and get this thing installed in our Charger. All right guys, tools you're going to see in this install are an electric impact wrench, an extension, a Phillips head socket, 8mm and 14mm sockets, a pick tool, and some form of 14mm wrench you also need. All right guys, now to get us started, we're going to take the top engine cover off here, and that'll give us better access to the factory intake, which we're going to have to remove. All right guys, first thing we're going to do here is we're going to disconnect this plug right here. Just pull that lock tab out and that should come free. Now we're going to loosen this clamp here. You're going to need an 8mm socket for that. All right guys, now you need to disconnect your breather hose here. It should just pull out like that. Kind of tuck that up out of the way. We're going to take out this bolt here. This is part of the bracket that holds your factory airbox in. Again, another 8mm socket for this one. Now at this point, once you've done that, all that's holding the factory airbox and intake in is a couple of rubber grommets, so we should be able to just pull up on it and remove it all together. All right guys, now we have our factory intake out. I wanted to throw it up here on the table and do a little side-by-side comparison. next to our SR Performance cold air intake. Now really, obviously what really stands out is you're getting these polished aluminum tubes as part of your new SR Performance kit. That's going to be a real big styling upgrade. This is basically black plastic and rubber, and it's not very stylized. It's very basic and is just meant to get the basic job done. Now we're dressing it up, so your engine bay is really going to look a lot more performance oriented and just a nice overall refined, polished look. So I think that is really the biggest standout in the side-by-side comparison. So let's go ahead and get this sucker mounted up on our Charger. All right, now we're going to remove this sensor and this rubber grommet. We're going to reuse those for the installation of our new SR Performance kit. So to remove the sensor, just grab it here and turn it counterclockwise. It's about a quarter turn. Then it should come out. And to get this rubber grommet out, it just slides out of the bracket here. It's a little tight. And hold on to that, we're gonna reuse this. All right, a couple more things we're gonna do up here on the table, guys. Go ahead and grab this bracket out of your kit and that rubber grommet we just took off of the factory intake. Go ahead and slide that on so that the rounded edge is kind of facing away from the bracket as you see it there. Set that aside. Now the sensor that we just removed from the factory intake, go ahead and grab a pick or maybe like a really small flat bladed screwdriver. You need to remove this little O-ring, and that little O-ring is right here, goes around. As you're doing this, be careful not to break any of this material right in here. That's for the sensor, and it's kind of thin metal material. Like that, you're not going to need that O-ring. All right, now go ahead and grab this little donut-shaped black rubber grommet. You need to get it inside this hole that's on the curved piece of polished aluminum from your kit. And just kind of twist it around like that and work it in like that. And this is going to be where we get our sensor in here. Kind of twisting it in. It's a little firm. I'm not trying to over torque it because the sensor does have a plastic body and I don't want to break it. That's in there nice and firm now, and you just want to make sure that the sensor is sticking out there. It's going to be able to do its job. All right, guys, now go ahead and grab the intake shield here from your kit. You should have two lengths of rubber stripping here. One is slightly longer than the other one. The short piece we're going to put up across the top here and at this corner, and then the longer piece is going to go along the bottom and the underside here. These are pretty good quality rubber strips here. They're fitting on nice and snugly, which is what you're going to want. You're not going to want this coming apart after you have it installed. All right, so I'm going to grab a cutting tool. We're going to just trim the end off here. All right, guys, now as I was actually working that, I was thinking I was going to have to trim this, but actually it pinches down nicely on the corner there. And you'll see on these rubber strips here that there are kind of metal clamps kind of built into the rubber at the ends that kind of provide a little bit of extra pinching force to help hold it on here. And that's wedged in there nice and tight on that corner. So I'm actually not going to trim that because I don't want to eliminate that metal clip at the end of the rubber strip. So let's go ahead and get our other one mounted on. All right, well, I was able to turn a 90-degree there onto the metal bracket. We'll see if that fits. If that fits, we're going to leave it as is without trimming. Because like I said, you don't necessarily want to trim this rubber stripping because it does have that metal kind of built into the part where it pinches onto our bracket here. So I'm going to go ahead with the next step. All right, guys, now go ahead and grab this reducer coupler. It's larger on one side than the other out of your kit, as well as one of the smaller clamps in your kit. This smaller end is going to fit onto the throttle body here. So go ahead and get your clamp started and make sure the clamp is oriented in a way we're going to be able to access it with the tool. I'm just gonna snug it up right now. I'm not gonna fully tighten it at this point. And an 8mm socket will work on this, or a Phillips head screwdriver. Just enough to hold it on there. Like I said, don't want to tighten it up too much at this point. We're still going to want a little bit of play in this as we fit all the other pieces on. All right guys, now go ahead and grab this rubber grommet out of the kit. You can see there's a threaded end down here in the bottom. And what's going to happen is when we put a bolt in there to mount our bracket, or our heat shield basically, and tighten it up, that's going to cause this to shorten up, and it's going to end up pinching this hole right here, and it's going to hold it in place like a grommet. So all you got to do is drop that in for right now. All right guys, now go ahead and drop your heat shield in. It'll be a little snug now that we have this rubber strip on there. Right now we have the bolt started. Go ahead and tighten it up using a 14mm socket. All right guys, go ahead and grab the factory bolt that we removed from this spot right here. We're going to use that to tighten this end of our heat shield off, and you're going to need an 8mm socket for this. All right guys, now if you remember, we mounted this grommet into the bracket earlier, and go ahead and just slide it onto this stud right there. And this is going to end up supporting the tubing as we mount it up here. All right guys, now go ahead and grab this funnel looking piece. This is going to be the base that our air filter is going to mount on. So bring it on inside here. And then kind of hold that on. Go ahead and grab this rubber connecting piece and slide it on. Now if you notice, as I turn this, kind of how it'll orient the air filter further back or further up. Obviously you're going to want to orient it a little bit further back, otherwise you're not going to have enough clearance up against the back of your headlight right here. So just have it oriented like that. And go ahead and grab a clamp. And again, an 8mm socket to tighten up the clamp. And as you're tightening up, just make sure that the coupler and this piece right here are pushed together tight, so you have a nice tight pinch on your heat shield. All right guys, go ahead and grab another one of these clamps, slide it on here, and then go ahead and grab the straight pipe out of your kit. Then just kind of orient your clamp right here so you can access it. And again, use an 8mm socket to tighten it up. I'm just going to make it snug for right now, still leaving it a little bit loose so we can adjust as needed. All right guys, go ahead and throw a clamp on this connection piece right here. Get it started on the short end of your curved pipe. And then get the top end of your curved pipe started. We're going to connect them down below here. Actually, before I do that, we'll get one more clamp on here. All right guys, I just realized we have enough slack here to pull this back out. You do need one more clamp up top here. Get that started. All right guys, now take this bracket, we're actually going to slide it down one and put it on the stud here with the grommet. And because we have a little bit of play in the system here with our clamps all being loose, we can move this around as we need to. I'm going to grab a wrench and we'll tighten that down. That's a 14mm bolt. All right guys, now we're going to tighten up these clamps up here by the throttle body. Again, these are 8mm. All right, go ahead and reconnect your sensor. Guys, go ahead and grab one of the lengths of rubber tubing in the kit and fit this small clamp on there. Get that seated, and then we can reconnect our breather hose. All right, and go ahead and tighten up this small clamp here. I'm going to use a Phillips head bit for this. All right guys, go ahead and grab the largest clamp out of your kit, slide it over top of your filter, get your filter on, and we'll tighten it up. This one also is an 8mm socket. All right, go ahead and replace your engine cover. Okay guys, that wraps up this review and install of the SR Performance cold air intake fitting all 2011 to 2019 Dodge Chargers with the 3.6 liter V6. And for all things Charger, keep it right here at American Muscle.